This this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law and JSA 1046. Notice of the meeting was sent to the Daily Record and the Citizen on January 3rd, 2025, and published on January 8th, 2025. Notice was also posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building and the Town of Boonton website. We can stand now for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Brianna, can we have a roll call?
Sure thing. Mayor Lynch,
Here.
Mr. Phelps,
Here.
Mr. Brewer,
Here.
Mr. Murray,
Here.
Mr. Kokar,
Here.
Mr. Oluski,
Here.
Mr. Schnitzler's out, Mr. Supa,
Here.
Mr. Venturini,
Here.
Mr. Roble,
Here.
and Mr. Zamborano.
Here.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Okay, payment of bills. Ran, are all the bills in order?
Yes, they are.
I have a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, pay the bills. Approval of the minutes. Everybody got a copy of the April 9th, 2025 minutes? Does anybody have any comments? Seeing none, we'll accept the meeting minutes as presented. Resolutions. Okay, so we're gonna table application number 202501 for the request of the attorney. And we'll move on to resolution 202502 Cedar Street for the high railers.
So with respect to that application, we have shared that with counsel for the applicant. That's a fairly straightforward application, guys. You compelled them to abide by, the real issue is maintaining their, I don't know if this is a word, clubness with respect to the operation of that facility. You'll also remember that there was an older couple that got up and inquired about an old tree in the back, asking that they could do it. I have received emails and the like from the trainmen saying that they're happy to do what they can to preserve that. So those things are there. They're familiar with the regulation. And so there's nothing particularly sexy with respect to that.
Okay.
I'll say this, I don't want to, because we're all in a hurry, et cetera. I want to thank everyone for working with me with respect to my, I don't know, personal schedule that doesn't really relate to me, but one of the things we talked about when I first joined you guys was there had been a concern about applicants getting back to us with respect, back to you with respect to resolutions and the like. So that doesn't help our cause if I'm tied up and not getting things to the applicants more quickly. And we have a schedule whereby our plan is to get those to any applicants the Thursday evening before, in advance of the hearing. And we're going to stick to that. And I have enlisted an assistant to assist with respect to that. That doesn't cost you guys anything, but I appreciate it. I get all my work done.
Okay,
It's not as quickly as I wanted to this past week, so, but
understood.
thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve resolution 202502?
Make a motion to approve 2025-02.
Second.
Do we have a roll call?
Okay. Mr. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Kokar,
Yes.
Mr. Oluski,
Yes.
Mr. Supa,
Yes.
Mr. Venturini,
Yes.
Mr. Roble,
Yes.
Mr. Zamborano,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch.
Abstain.
Oh, abstain. Yes, you were up. Sorry. And Mr. Phelps.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to our public hearing, which is the adoption of the Town of Boonton fourth round of housing element and fair share plan. I will turn it over to Chris to give us a little outline of what's included. Everybody received a copy of it.
Yep.
I'll have Chris kind of go over it for us.
All right, thank you. I will be brief, but hopefully comprehensive. So as I'm sure everybody on the board is aware, the state last spring, the legislature adopted a new law governing affordable housing, and we are in what's now being called the fourth round of affordable housing. In that law, there's a timeline that municipalities need to follow if they're going to participate in the law. The upcoming deadline and the reason for our meeting tonight is that by June 30th of this year, all municipalities need to adopt what's called a housing element and fair share plan if they're going to be participating in the compliance process. There will be steps after that. There's a 3-month challenge period. There's time to adopt ordinances. We won't get into that tonight, but really critical step in this whole process is the adoption of this plan by this date, June 30th. The reason why I'm here in front of you, the planning board, is because a housing element and fair share plan is a component of your master plan. So you, the planning board, own the master plan, and you have the approval authority over the master plan elements. This housing element is a little different from a normal master plan because it does also go to the council where they're blessing, and that would happen after you took action. But I'll give you now just a little bit of content on what's actually in the document itself. I keep saying housing element and fair share plan. There's really two sections in there. And when you look at it, and I'm sure you have, the first section, the housing element, is a bunch of tables and charts, demographics, information about housing conditions in the town of Boonton. A little bit more of the drier of the two sections. The second section is called the fair share plan, and that's where we talk about the town's approach to meeting the obligations that are set forth under the law. What are your obligations? You might have heard some different numbers going around because there was a bit of a process with this. The state put out numbers, the town adopted its own number, there was a settlement, there was an appeal. I won't get into the weeds of all of that. I'm happy to if you want to ask me the questions. The key number that you need to know is that your town has two obligations. The first one is called the rehabilitation need or the present need, and your obligation for that is 23. Michael Jordan, 23. Oh, get this. And then the other one, the prospective need, which is sort of oftentimes more forward thinking, we'll talk about how we handle it here, is 99 for Wayne Gretzky.
Right.
Interesting, huh? Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky. Okay. So those are the numbers that we have to satisfy in our plan. I'll tell you how we're going to do that. But before I do, an important part of this.
That one always goes.
Maybe use the microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just turn it on.
There we go.
All right. That's okay. I'll just stand. Yeah. I'll be quicker though, because now we'll do it from memory. All right. So in the plan, before I get into the compliance for the fourth round in there, there is a section which is important, which is what did the town commit to doing the third round and did it do it? You did do what you said you were going to do in your third round settlement agreement. So that's good. So sort of the conclusion of that section of the plan is the town met the obligations from the third round and is carrying forward no commitments, no additional commitments from the third round. It's interesting when you look back, like what were the things that were in the third round plan? How did you satisfy your obligation last time around? Several different group homes, the 128 Monroe project that's been here on numerous occasions is in there. You had to adopt a mandatory townwide affordable housing set-aside ordinance, which you did. You did some overlay zoning. So sort of an interesting combination of stuff. And, it's my conclusion in the plan that you satisfied that and you're not carrying forward anything. So to the fourth round and what you're actually, what I've written in the plan that you'll be doing to satisfy the compliance requirements. I mentioned how there's two obligations, the rehabilitation obligation, which is the Michael Jordan 23 obligation. You're going to pretty much continue the existing rehabilitation program that the town has. So as part of its third round compliance strategy, the town created this program called the Home Improvement Program. Pat manages it. Money is available to homeowners for making certain improvements to their home. They can get a certain amount of funding through that. There's a whole deed restriction and income qualification process. Pretty good program if you qualify. The proposal is to continue that program and to fund it through your Affordable Housing Trust Fund, much the same way that you've been doing that for the prior round, and that would satisfy your rehabilitation or your 23 unit obligation. So the other obligation, the Wayne Gretzky 99 obligation, is satisfied through really two main strategies, okay? The first of which is actually a continuation of one of your strategies from the last round, the third round. So you'll recall, depending on how long you've been on the board, that the town adopted a redevelopment plan called the Division Street Redevelopment Plan, right? A few years back. The reason why you did that was because you committed to doing so in your third round Affordable Housing Settlement Agreement. And in your third round Affordable Housing Settlement Agreement, you said we're going to zone that for 25 units an acre. Okay. And that would create an opportunity for about 18 affordable units. This is all in the document. What you actually did as a town is you adopted a redevelopment plan that permitted up to 45 units an acre. Okay. So you created an opportunity beyond what you were obligated to do. So it's the conclusion in the plan that in doing so, you actually created the opportunity for 36 affordable units versus the 18 that you were obligated to do. Therefore, we're claiming those 18 credits for zoning that's already on the books towards our fourth round obligation of 99. Strategy 1. Forgot one thing on that. There's a bonus structure in here. Won't get in the weeds on that. But because of the proximity of that area to the train station, you can get a 50% bonus for your credits. So 16 extra from what you zone, or 18 extra plus 9 bonus, 27 total. That's the number of the plan. All right, so I said there's two big categories. The second category is the housing authority properties. Boonton's kind of unique in that it has a local housing authority and it has an affordable housing obligation. In doing research and working with Town's Affordable Housing Council throughout this process, the town has not claimed credit for any of those housing authority properties units to date. It's our position that we've outlined in the report that those units meet the criteria or the characteristics of affordable housing as set forth in the law in terms of the income levels specifically that they can be rented to. Also worth noting that the town has contributed to the operation and the improvements of those units as recently as 2 months ago at the town council relating to some drainage over in Plain Street. So we're claiming the housing authority credits, housing authority units. There's 74 units between Chestnut Street and Plain Street. We're claiming those to satisfy the balance of the 99. So between housing authority, 74 units between Plain Street and Chestnut Street, and then the incremental units on Division Street, we're exceeding that 99 number that we're obligated to do. Those are the most important things in the document, all right? There's a bunch of appendices that we're statutorily required to include. Marketing plan, there's a spending plan in there, prior resolutions, ordinances, development fee ordinances. We can talk about any of those. I'm not going to go through them one by one. That's really the key point. So you tonight will consider a resolution. You can ask me questions, whatever. If you move forward, which I hope you do, given the timeframes, this will go back to the council for endorsement. But either way, action has to happen by the end of June in order to fully participate.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Very good.
And I'll stand here now.
Anybody have any questions? So what we're really doing tonight is we're going to vote on a resolution to approve the plan and send it to the town council.
Right, so we prepared a resolution. I'll pass out. I think I have enough copies for everyone.
I also printed out a copy for everyone to attach
Oh,
to their.
yeah.
Do you have them?
I think
Have you
everybody's
given them
got them.
already?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody's
they
got
were-
one. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Never
Okay.
mind. Never mind.
We're probably in the best shape. What is that? Out of yours?
Yeah.
I think one other thing.
Some of the towns, being formed and collected, and we're suing the state over this. Has there been any movement on that at all?
So Boone's not participating in that lawsuit. I'm not sure what the current status of that lawsuit is. My understanding, working in this capacity for several towns, is that the state is operating and most towns are operating as if the deadlines in the law are the deadlines. And if you want to participate, you should meet the deadlines.
Yeah, that's consistent with what I've been hearing. So
Okay, and this, I mean, pretty basic resolution for everybody. It's pretty standard, so. Anybody want to make a motion?
I would move to adopt the housing element and fair share plan as presented tonight.
Have a second?
Second, Brewer.
We have a roll call.
Sure, Mr. Brewer,
Without any commentary on the law, but my compliments to the planner, I vote yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Kokar,
Yes.
Mr. Olustki,
Yes.
Mr. Supa,
Yeah.
Mr. Venturini,
Yes.
Mr. Roble,
Yes.
Mr. Zamparano,
Yes.
Mayor Lynch,
Yes.
and Mr. Phelps.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
If I could just make
Yep.
one quick comment. I think one of the law changes, I think our current ordinance as far as set asides is 15% rentals and 20% if owner occupied. I think everything got bumped up to 20% now as part of the law change. Is that correct?
It's not quite as cut and dry, but I will say in the document, we assume for that Division Street calculation that I did, we assume that 20% would apply to that, and that's part of the math. There's nothing in there that's proposing an immediate change to your set aside ordinance. Being totally candid, some of the rules are still being released as we're working on all of this. Should that be mandated? I think that, the council would have to consider that. The only real mention of that specifically in the plan right now is about that we assume it would apply to Division Street.
Okay, I will open it to the public for any comment on non-agenda matters. Seeing no one here, I'll close it to the public. Oh, do
already
we?
voted.
We, procedurally, sorry,
Yes, we
that was needed.
should have opened it up. Yeah, okay, well, nobody was here, so.
Let the record reflect there's no audience.
Yes, thank you. Okay, any old business, new business? Anybody got anything?
I just want to confirm that the next resolution for application 319 Kelly Lane would be on the June 11th meeting. just So
Yes.
everyone knows.
And we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon to complete that resolution with
Okay.
council for the applicant.
All right, perfect.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All correct. We're adjourned. Yeah,
19 minutes. Good job.
pretty good. Not a record, pal.
Try to stare at me.